Jeffrey Epstein is a name that has been linked to controversy, power, and allegations of abuse that are beyond comprehension. This is the story of a man whose influence reached all the way from the halls of power to the most obscure parts of society. Join us as we examine the rise and fall of Jeffrey Epstein. In 2005, shortly after being recognized by New York Magazine as a global enigma in the field of finance, Jeffrey Epstein faced accusations of engaging in sexual activities with underage individuals. The investigators promptly recognized that this was not a typical crime. Epstein consistently avoided being held responsible for his illegal activities for more than 10 years until he was finally arrested. On January 20th, 1953, Jeffrey Epstein was born in Brooklyn, New York. Epstein, who excelled in mathematics, joined the math team at Lafayette High School and attended Cooper Union and NYU for a brief period of time, although he never graduated. Rather, by the middle of the 1970s, he had started instructing physics and mathematics at the posh Dalton School in New York City. Epstein was well known for wearing an open shirt exposing his chest, gold chains, and fur coats, according to The Guardian. He also made an appearance at a high school party where his students were drinking. Some students later recalled that he paid continuous attention to girls in his classroom and in the halls. Although no official charges of sexual misconduct were ever brought against him, he made one student feel so uneasy that they went to a school authority to report him. In the end, his poor performance led to his dismissal. There were perks to working at the famous school. Vanity Fair reports that Epstein was able to network with influential parents through his students. One of these parents was Ace Greenberg, a renowned trader and senior partner at Bear Stearns, an investment firm that preyed on Epstein and others like him. It was sufficient that they be impoverished, intelligent, and desperately seeking rapid wealth. Lineage was of little importance. Epstein was employed in 1976 in the role of junior assistant. Only 4 years after joining the company, in 1980, he was promoted to the position of senior partner. By 1981, Epstein had amassed a large personal clientele and had decided to launch his own wealth management firm, J. Epstein & Company, after leaving Bear Stearns. When compared to competitors, his company's methods were somewhat different. He oversaw all of his clients' investments, tax strategies, and charitable activities, and would only work with those who had $1 billion or more in assets. Epstein never took commissions or percentages. Instead, he wanted full control of his clients' wealth and charged a flat price. If his annual management charge was just 0.5%, he would rake in $75 million from just one $15 billion account, according to some estimates. 20 accountants were on staff to ensure accuracy in the books. 150 people were responsible for administrative tasks, and he had a number of stunning female aides to keep him on track. However, the accounts could not be handled or analyzed by anyone other than him. He acted independently when it came to making investments. Epstein not only amassed a clientele, but also a circle of friends, often powerful figures in politics or the scientific community, who he wanted to remain close to. For instance, he spent time with Santa Fe Institute co-chair and Nobel Prize-winning scientist Murray Gell-Mann before constructing his home there. Another Nobel laureate, who oversaw the Neurosciences Institute, Gerald Edelman, claimed that Epstein had been offering them $20 million annually for some time, perhaps as payment for coming to visit and asking philosophical and scientific questions. However, Epstein's focused political connections were the most notorious. Getting close to Bill Clinton was supposedly his top priority. In 2002, then presidential candidate Donald Trump claimed about Epstein, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Awesome dude. It's great fun to spend time with him. Apparently, he has the same taste in attractive women as me. Plus, a good chunk of them are really young. There is no denying that Jeffrey finds satisfaction in his social life." Ghislaine Maxwell was the daughter of British media magnate Robert Maxwell. She lived in a townhouse just down the street from Epstein's in New York, and the two had been romantically involved for decades. A socialite and party girl with acquaintances in every social sphere, including the British royal family, the heiress had a stellar reputation. Since Epstein was so committed to his bachelor lifestyle, many assumed that their relationship was mostly platonic, even if they were connected. When a 14-year-old girl confessed to her parents that something dreadful had occurred to her in March 2005, The scope of Epstein's alleged horrific crimes started to unravel, potentially engulfing everyone in his circle. Her parents reported her to the authorities. In his Palm Beach estate, Jeffrey Epstein assaulted their daughter. According to her statement given to the authorities, 2 other girls had brought her here to be questioned. They identified 2 additional girls who had acted similarly when those children were brought in. Investigators quickly located dozens of victims. All of them were minor girls who had a consistent narrative. After a cab took them to Epstein's waterfront mansion in Palm Beach, they were led through a side entrance into the kitchen, where they were led upstairs to the master bedroom, where Epstein was waiting. He pursued women he believed no one would pay attention to, and he was correct. Many of Epstein's other victims brought the girls, who ranged in age from 13 to 16, to his house after promising them big bucks if they would bring him other victims. He created a vast, cult-like pyramid scheme to rape minor girls at his Palm Beach residence 3 times a day. Epstein used his Fifth Amendment right to keep silent over 200 times during depositions, as scores of victims filed lawsuits. The 53-page federal indictment against Epstein listed a laundry list of crimes involving 40 adolescent females. In normal circumstances, he would have faced life in federal jail. Despite the accusation's plausibility and investigators' support, Epstein may have used his position and influence to reduce his charges. During a 2007 breakfast meeting at the Marriott in West Palm Beach, Epstein's legal team negotiated a favorable plea deal with Miami's top prosecutor, Alex Acosta, the district's top federal law enforcement official. Jay Lefkowitz, Acosta's former partner at a top Washington, D.C. law firm, represented Epstein. Epstein pleaded guilty to 2 counts of soliciting prostitution from minors under Acosta's unusual non-prosecution agreement. Spence Coven, the girl's lawyer, claimed she was exploited twice, first by Epstein and then by the criminal court system, which labeled her a prostitute at 14. Epstein received a 13-month Florida County jail sentence under Acosta's arrangement. Epstein was sent to a Palm Beach County Jail private wing, unlike many convicted sex offenders. The sheriff's office allowed him to work in his Lux office in West Palm Beach 6 days a week for 12 hours. Sometimes Epstein's limousine picked him up from the prison at 7:15 a.m. and left him home at practically 11 p.m. The sheriff's department's policy stated that sex offenders were not eligible for work release. In 2019, a federal judge found Acosta had authorized another extraordinary condition that violated federal law. Deal details would be kept from victims. While the case was sealed, Epstein's 2001-2005 crimes, including the number of females he attacked and co-conspirators, remained unknown. Local authorities also reported Epstein's case to the FBI. Acosta's plea deal has been criticized for effectively ending their continuing investigation. With an extremely flexible clause, Acosta's bargain granted Epstein and at least 4 accomplices protection from all federal criminal charges, as well as immunity from possible co-conspirators. Many believe this was to protect powerful individuals who had sex with young girls at Epstein's houses. At the end of the day, based on the evidence, professionals within a prosecutor's office decided that a plea that guarantees someone goes to jail, that guarantees he registers as a sex offender generally, and guarantees other outcomes is a good thing. This was in reference to his nomination to be Secretary of Labor under the Trump administration, a role that would have a direct impact on labor laws pertaining to human trafficking. A few influential men failed to keep the secret a secret in 2018. Julie K. Brown's devastating Miami Herald article renewed charges that Epstein had assaulted or sexually abused 80 minors between 2001 and 2006. Another report put Epstein in the hot seat, and he couldn't escape. His crimes may not be limited to Palm Beach. New York City investigators detained Epstein on July 6, 2019. Epstein was charged with child sexual trafficking by the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office on July 8, 2019. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's recruiter, is also accused. Epstein pleaded not guilty to sexually exploiting and abusing dozens of teenage girls at his Manhattan and Palm Beach homes in the early 2000s after his indictment in early July. June 2020 was his trial date. Epstein lived freely for years, despite numerous sexual abuse charges. Finally, his immense money failed him. Epstein offered $100 million for bail and requested home arrest with armed guards. The judge rejected his claim. In Epstein's case, Manhattan Federal Court Judge Richard Berman said the government had shown clear and persuasive evidence of community danger. I doubt any bail deal can stop a community threat. Epstein was sent to Lower Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center after being denied bail. On July 23, 2019, Epstein was found dead in his cell at 6:30 a.m. The New York medical examiner declared the death to be a hanging suicide. Epstein reportedly had neck injuries from undisclosed sources, which some assume were self-inflicted in connection with suicide. Others have not ruled out inmate assault. Recently, the institution has been accused of mistreating a man who needed the closest supervision due to his victims. Ghislaine Maxwell is currently awaiting trial on accusations relating to the sexual trafficking of kids. She was detained on July 2, 2020, approximately 1 year after Epstein's death. The women who were abused by Epstein are still waiting for justice for the horrible things that happened to them. Numerous women have suffered severe trauma as a result of the abuse they endured at Epstein's hands and the persistent inadequacy of the judicial and penal systems in safeguarding them. The woman who had accused Epstein of raping her when she was 15, Jennifer Arauz, released a statement in which she offered her side of the story. While he evades accountability for the atrocities he perpetrated and the suffering he inflicted upon countless individuals, we are destined to bear the indelible marks of his deeds throughout our lifetimes. The repercussions of the crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein are still being felt today. At the same time that society is struggling to come to terms with the consequences of his crimes and the structures that enabled him to thrive, his victims are looking for justice and healing. The case of Jeffrey Epstein serves as a jarring illustration of the perils of unbridled power and the significance of maintaining awareness in order to safeguard those who are vulnerable. May we always remember those who have been victimized and work towards creating a world in which justice is the norm. Even though Epstein has passed away, justice still has to be served. Comment below with your opinion regarding the heinous case and let us know what your take is on this case. Write your view about this case in the comment section. And if you like our true crime-based videos, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks a bunch for watching, and stay tuned for more updates on various thrilling stories.